We have Joe. Joe, would you mind starting off doing your MCS, please?
Sure. Okay, so at an off-track petting club in Philadelphia on the night of the 2004 Kentucky Derby, Jessie is finishing out her shift behind the bar when she comes across a disgruntled former employee, Scott Bauer, come to exact revenge via witchcraft. On that same night, a regular from the club named Salt stages an armed robbery. And when Scott's plan goes sideways and he opens the door to hell and unleashes a demon that seems to have taken a special interest in Jessie, the robbery spirals into a hostage situation. So Jessie is locked in this off-track betting club overnight with her captors and her friends and a demon, and they are forced to stave off the physical and psychological attacks of this demon, all while Jessie is facing her own demon and going through opiate withdrawal. Over the course of the night, she actually forms a trauma bond with Salt, and it is him who sacrifices himself in the end by trying to pull the demon back into hell so that Jessie might live. Jessie survives. The police show up. All the dead bodies get blamed on Scott Bauer, and she struggles for the next 20 years, though, trying to fight both demons, and she doesn't win. Not my best. Sorry.
No, that was that is an extremely tight, compelling story. So I want to ask questions. Anyone got a question for Joe? I'm dying to ask a question. So Ariel, come on. First question, top of mind. Nothing? Kim? All right, so my question is, why does the demon do what he do?
Mm-hmm. Oh, because it's fun.
He's just demoning around.
Yeah, kind of. Well, the demon is just attracted to people's like self-loathing and misery, and Jessie has a lot of it, and it enjoys like fucking with people.
You said the F word.
Sorry.
Well, I thought I heard fracking with people. Flecking with people?
Fracking, yeah.
So why? So explain. So I'm going to ask you this to explain the confrontation in today's chapter between Carla and not son. His name escapes me. So we'll talk about that in a second. Ariel, can you lead with comments for Joe, please?
Yes. The tension is amazing. The writing is fantastic. It just becomes so creepy, and I'm just like fully in this with these people. Like, it's just, you have such a way of writing these like horrific moments, and it is so stellar. I'm on a real like horror kick right now too, like watching Obsession, Backrooms, and just like it's feeding the horror I just need right now. So yeah, I just think it's just so good. I think I just kind of got lost with orientation multiple times, and I just had a hard time. I wasn't actually totally sure whose POV I was in all the time. I know I'm supposed to be in Jessie's POV, but I was kind of getting lost because there's just a lot of people, so I wasn't totally sure. And I think we were watching the scene through Jessie's eyes, and so I wasn't getting a whole lot from her. So I was kind of getting lost of whose POV am I in. That was kind of just, that's it for me. That was like the main question I had. So yeah.
Yeah, that's a good comment. Great chapter, but I'm in agreement with Ariel. Kim?
Yeah. So you do such an amazing job of writing just the most horrific scenes, and I mean that in as a compliment. Like, serious, like that scene with the demon attacking Carla was just so good. Also, I want to let you know that like whenever I read your stories, especially when like in the bar, it's like you do such a good job with setting. Like I can almost like see the haze of like a smoky bar and like smell the like smoke. Like it's just so good. And I feel like I don't always it's rare for me to get that like visceral reaction when I read something, and you deliver it every time. So nice job. I think, and it kind of goes off what Ariel was saying, I would have liked a little bit more internality from Jesse, like especially during these horrific scenes. I feel like it was a lot of me watching, whereas I kind of want to experience it along with Jesse. And I just think maybe putting us more in her head would do that, rather than just kind of feel like I'm just floating above watching everything just kind of happen. I love, so all these dead ends you're writing and Jesse's inability to escape the club. For me, it's just such fabulous symbolism for the addiction that she's unable to escape. And it's just such a great compliment to your theme. Again, with orientation, I was a little unsure of exactly what was going down / being hinted at when the ending came with Scott. You reminded me in the MCS that he was the one who originally opened the portal, but I kind of forgot about that, and I haven't read the very beginning, so I wasn't quite sure how Scott being alive was going to help them, or who even this person was. So just a little bit more inner orientation on that, I think, would have helped grounded me and made me understand why this ending is so impactful. And then the other thing I was just a little confused on is when Carla asks her son, "What are you doing here?" But in the next paragraph, it's revealed that it looks like they reached out to him, maybe. So I was a little confused on exactly like what was going on there. So I think I just need a little bit more understanding on that. But again, that might just be me being really nitpicky. So other than that, like I said, your descriptors are fabulous, and it grounds me in your story every time, and I absolutely love it. So that's all I had.
Yeah, very good, Kim. So 2 comments from everyone, which, I endorse. Your orientation is an issue, right? And it's especially at the beginning. So and it's not that every reader is going to suffer, because some readers won't need it, but the ones who do need it are going to be lost. And 30% of your audience, 50%, right? We want this, and it could be a bestseller. And a lot of dominoes have to align for that to happen. But let's give it a good shot by putting that orientation in there and helping the not so tuned in readers get the story. The second issue is the internality, which I'm surprised, because normally that's very good and it's been consistently good, but it was just missing. So my guess is you sort of revised this chapter, which gets to the new comment I wanted to make, which is it seems like the demon, as portrayed by the son, whose name still escapes me. What was the son's name? Jack?
Jason.
Jason. Yay. That was the demon, right? Super scary. But the demon is actually accusing Carla of being a bad person. And it's almost like Christmas Carol, right? The demon's like, you did this, you did that, and now you're dead. Which is a new take on the demon, because I didn't see him doing that. It's not a new take. So explain that.
I mean, maybe, but this was how I originally wrote this. I didn't really change much to this chapter. That was how it was the first time around.
But the other people the demon has murdered did not get sort of a
Maybe, Danielle's baby
prosecution
out of her belly, because
I remember that.
That did have to do with like her transgressions or whatever. I guess Grant wasn't really, he just was killed, but so maybe that's a problem.
Well, I don't know if it is. I thought it was great, but then the question is,
I think that,
do you need to do that with each of the creations? I mean, each of the murders. I don't know. I just found it especially poignant in this situation.
Yeah, maybe I have mommy issues. That's why.
Well, we say that part of the reason why people write novels is self-therapy, but But it was an interesting take on this, right?
Yeah.
And the question then becomes, do you need to add it to the other demon murders that are going on throughout the novel? And if you think they're there already, fine. It's just none so pointed.
Yeah,
into
probably
mind.
not.
So the other thing I would suggest is we give this chapter a little more breathing room, right? Especially at the end where the bloody handprint shows up. So how, this is what we were talking about with a satisfying chapter. I think it might be too distracting for this chapter. So there's two ways to leave this in general. So these are generic, so we're not imposing anything on you, right? Either it ends with Carla's dead or gone or whatever. That's one way to end it. And then the other way to end it is to have some kind of hook into the next chapter. And I'm going to suggest that you don't need that hook, especially with this is good news, right? We found a bloody handprint, therefore we could find Scott, therefore we're going to be free. I think you can end this chapter on a downer and not necessarily include that. But the thing I would work on this. Adding back the internality for Jesse, we need to work on our orientation a bit more throughout. And then I do like, I particularly liked how Carla was finished off by the image, the doppelganger of her son. That was really powerful. So great chapter. So thoughts, Joe?
Thank you.
You can disagree with us, right?
No, I do.
You guys are idiots. You didn't get what I'm trying to do, which is my favorite comic. I'm saying, no, you didn't explain it well enough, but that's not the case here. But you can disagree.
No, I don't. I don't disagree.
All right. Good.
Yeah. Thank you.
So what's your plan at this point?
To go back and fix chapter 15, I guess.
Well, for us, for next time, we trust you to fix it.
Yeah.
For chapter 16, I really want you to work on that orientation.
Okay.
So let's make that the litmus test for chapter 16. And then the rest of it, I think, is fine. Not just fine, but the rest of it's great. You're not losing everyone, but you're losing some people. And if you're losing some people, that's going to represent a big chunk of your readership pie. Not an overwhelming chunk, but a chunk you don't want to lose.
Mm-hmm.
All right, good.
That's fair, for sure. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Bardsey delivers the tools, guidance, and support you need to produce compelling novels. Our well-researched and thoroughly tested approach includes our minimum complete story, a 90-second exercise that keeps your writing on track while fueling creativity. Bardsey Publishability Index, a 23-dimension checklist that offers attainable goals and provides actionable feedback. And our brand new comprehensive character developer that helps you construct unforgettable characters. Come see for yourself at bardsey.com today. Try our workshop or enter our first chapter contest. Then, when you're ready, Elite Membership delivers writing groups, personal coaching, and a curated community. With Bardsey, your work will captivate everyone, from agents to publishers, and, most importantly, your readers.